80% of the numbers in RUF were children aged 7 years to 14 years. And they served in what they call the Small Boys Unit. The state's armed forces and militia groups which supported the RUF also recruited children, and that led to 10,000, estimated 10,000 children taking part in the conflict. And up to 30% of that number of children in the RUF were girls. And these girls were subjected to rape, gang rape, and other forms of sexual violence. The RUF used alcohol and hallucinogenic drugs on children during training so that they could sedate and kill the capacity or the will of the children, even as they recruited them or conscripted them. Whenever there is war, outbreak, or any civil conflict, children are categorized as one of the most vulnerable groups, and we have enough evidence and documentation on how children have been adversely used and abused during wars and conflicts. And I believe that a picture of a child holding a gun is the epitome of child's vulnerability and a violation of their dignity by the community and by the society that is supposed to protect them. It is unfortunate, friends, that a child is given a gun and that gun ends up to be a tool for that child's self-destruction. It is unfortunate, friends, that the child lives in a community today which has ended up being a tool for that child's self-destruction. It is unfortunate, friends, that most of our children today are growing without love. Our children are growing without care. They are growing without protection. They are growing without example. And from the passage that we've just read, Matthew 19:14, the children were brought to Jesus Christ for prayer and blessings. But who were hindering them? The adults. The adults were stopping the children. And this was the same community in which children held no place, they had no value at all. It was a patriarchal society where children were treated as dregs of humanity. But thank God, according to John 10:10, says that Jesus came so that they may have life and have it in abundance. In our passage, Matthew 19:14, Jesus provided three things. Jesus provided protection. That is what the PIA stands for, or what we call the PIA in Kiswahili. First thing was protection. Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me." Jesus defended the children against cultural biases and prejudices that suppressed the worth and the significance of the children. The second thing that Jesus provided was intervention. He said, "Do not stop them. Do not hinder them." Jesus intervened to rescue the children from the adults who represented the cultural and social beliefs which undermined the place and the dignity and the value of children in that society. Jesus intervened to rescue the children from such mindset. Another thing that Jesus did, he provided awareness. When he said, "For the kingdom of God, kingdom of heaven belongs to such as this," he spoke to the world. He was telling the world through the Christian legacies that are presented there that children have a very special place in the kingdom of God. And my prayer is that this conference will follow this example of Jesus Christ and provide PIA. This conference will be able to give us, to provide protection for our children. Our children have suffered low self-esteem in the hands of adults and society. Children have suffered in the hands of people and societies, cultural biases and religious prejudices. which discriminate on them. I hope this conference will provide intervention for our children, to rescue our children from the societal mindset and social practices that undermine the dignity and the value of our children. I hope this conference will provide awareness about our children. The whole world will be informed, will be advised to be educated through the legacies represented here today, that our children must be respected and loved for who they are, because they are children. And I hope this conference will be a PIA conference. It's about protection, it's about intervention, it's about awareness as far as our children are concerned. I hope this conference will stand up for the care and for the cause of our children in Kenya, in Africa, and beyond. Amen? Amen. Amen. Let's pray together. Lord, we thank you for reminding us this morning. Children are special. The example you've given us from Matthew 19:14, you provided protection, intervention, and awareness about the children. Lord, we pray as we begin this great conference, it's about God. Learning more about Him, learning about the protection He accorded humanity, the interventions He brought to humanity, the awareness He created about the worth and dignity and value of the children. This conference will serve that purpose at the end. That is our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. God bless you.
Thank you, Reverend Luther. We can clap for him. And as we do that, I'd like to invite Dr. Eric Patel, who's just going to take a few minutes and give us just a glimpse or a little background of this conference and why we are having it, so that we can be up to speed. I know we'll be acknowledging all of you from the different countries you've come. We've not forgotten that, but we are glad that you are here. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning once again. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. We welcome you to this conference. I'm Dr. Eric Patel from the Department of Children's Services in the State Department of Social Protection. I'll take the least time possible in giving an overview of the ICP conference. We call it ICP, and I think you know about it. It's the International Child Protection Conference that is taking place in Kenya this time. And the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection takes care of children. We safeguard the rights and welfare of children through collaboration with all stakeholders. And at the Ministry, we have a research technical working group that is composed of all stakeholders in the children's sector, in ensuring that we approach child protection practice guided by some evidence and proper coordination. The technical working group enhances professionalism in child protection, sharing of promising practices, and capitalizing on strengths and diversity of association in ensuring exemplary child protection practice. But we are guided by a concern in child protection sector and the plight of children in this country. And we underscore the gaps that exist in child protection sector. Then we thought of coming up with this conference to guide our operations. And the theme for this conference is from vulnerability, resilience, innovation, and evidence. We should be well, we should know that we are doing interventions that are informed by some facts. We should also know that we are innovating and trying to use technology. And this should help us generally give policy directions and design programs for child protection in a way that can help this nation. But we know that we are not only Kenyans here. The child protection work is something that is a global issue. And we thought that we should be guided by the some things that you know that are there in your programs and are well articulated and will be discussed, and we'll get presentations as well from your plenary sessions, and also in the breakaway sessions. But the major things that we expect from this topic is that, yes, we've created a platform, but we need to identify gaps in child protection. We also need to share the good, promising practices. We identify also priority advocacy issues that will help the nation, and also challenge other practitioners all around to embrace a zero tolerance to abuse of children. We invited 8 keynote speakers, and we call them specialists in these areas of admin. So we encourage all of you to attend all the keynote speeches, because you have specialists to help us guide this. At the end of this conference, we'll have policy briefs. We'll also institutionalize this act, because this is the first international child protection campaign that we are organizing as a ministry. But we need to have this after every 2 years, continuing within the ministry. We also intend to launch a journal for publication where all child protection issues could be raised and published. We have secured a platform for this, and most of the papers that will be presented here, we expect them to get to the International Child Protection Journal. There would also be call for action. But we have various partners who assisted this process. And we appreciate all of them, including others who are still on the way coming. Our partners are here, and I think at the right time we give them some time during the opening ceremony to be recognized by the Cabinet Secretary. At the moment, I don't want to take a lot of time, because we're only giving a glimpse of what to expect from the conference. And I know, and I want to encourage all of us to rest assured that we have specialists in the areas we've identified where the Research Technical Committee noticed a gap, and the keynote speakers will guide us, you will learn, and academicians, practitioners, and researchers in this room will all benefit. But not only benefit, you benefit and improve in your area of action for children. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ted. We really appreciate that. Another round of applause for Eric. We are really going around to ensure that this thing happens. Now, we want to get into our very first keynote speech. And our very first keynote speech will be done by Professor Linda Thiron. Professor Linda Thiron holds a Doctor of Education and is a full professor in psychology, in the Department of Educational Psychology, Faculty of Education, in the University of Pretoria. She is an associate of the Center for the Study of Resilience at the University of Pretoria, and an extraordinary professor in potential research focus area. at the Northwestern University, South Africa. Her research, which has been locally and internationally funded, and publications focus on the resilience process of South African young people challenged by chronic adversity and account for how social-cultural contexts shape resilience. You can check that. You will have the program, and you can see the website. You can know details about Professor Linda Piron. She is a lead editor of Youth, Resilience and Culture, Complexities and Commonalities, the Springer 2015. She is also an associate journal editor of Child Abuse and Neglect and also School Psychology International. Now, I would like to tell you that Professor Linda, I've met her and I know she has some great information that you'll be able to learn and gather. But also for your information, she will be facilitating a session as a workshop. So please check out. We'll be having that workshop tomorrow in the morning in the auditorium. As people go away to the workshops or the breakaway sessions, she will be handling workshops here on if you want to publish, maybe your work and you've never known how to publish your work, she'll be able to guide us. What do people who do journals expect and how can we write that? So those who are interested, please take notes tomorrow at 11 to 1 should be facilitating that session in this auditorium. So let's put our hands together and invite Professor Linda Piron. I think she arrives at the podium, so you have to keep a class and attention here. Thank you.
Good morning again. Thank you very much to the conference organizers. It's truly an honor and a privilege to be here in warm and welcoming Kenya and to be talking to you at this very important conference, the first ever International Child Protection Conference that's been organized by your ministry. So this is truly a special occasion for me too. What I'm going to do, and I just need to start my timer on my phone because Rosalind asked us very nicely not to go over 20 minutes, and so I'm going to do my best to comply with that by watching the time. What I'm going to do this morning is I'm going to argue that at the start of this conference, we need to choose. And what we need to choose between is the first story is the story of our children's vulnerability. The second story is the story of our children's resilience. And we need to choose between those stories. Now, I'm going to talk about our children. I'm going to use the words our children a lot this morning. When I refer to our children, I'm referring to the children and the adolescents that are currently growing up in sub-Saharan Africa. And sub-Saharan Africa, as you probably know, is home at this point in time to almost 2 billion children. So this is a very important conference that speaks to the protection of these children. The vulnerability story is a very well-known story. It's a story that's told often. When you open the newspapers, when you travel overseas, when you switch on the television, you hear repeatedly about the vulnerability of African children. We hear, for example, that in the poorest countries in sub-Saharan Africa, more than half of all children live under conditions of extreme poverty. That's not new information to those of us in this room because we work in child protection, I assume, most of us. We know, for example, that access to quality education in sub-Saharan Africa is low. We know that there are major challenges related to the empowerment of girls. There are major challenges related to gender equality. And the child abuse and child neglect is high. We know that. The problem with all of these vulnerabilities is that they ultimately cause our children's health and well-being to be jeopardized. And that in turn means that the future of our continent, of Africa, is at risk. And so I can understand from that point of view that the story of vulnerability is a well-known story. But, and this is a very important but, in the face of these apparently intractable risks, African children and adolescents have shown incredible resilience. Why is this story not better known? I think it's problematic, and I'm going to keep saying that in the course of this conference, that we know more about the vulnerability of African children and adolescents than we know about their resilience. Because for us as practitioners, for those of us who want to work to protect children, there's enormous value in knowing more about the resilience of African children and African adolescents, because their resilience can change how we protect children. So I just want to stop for a moment at that point, and I want to make something very clear. Because our children are resilient, that doesn't mean that we can tolerate or ignore or accept the causes of what makes them vulnerable. Our primary task always is to prevent what's putting our children at risk. And if we can't prevent it, to try and limit it. But I think that you'll all agree with me. The process of preventing and of limiting the risks to our children is a slow process. And it's a difficult process. And so I argue this morning that what we need to do in the interim is we need, at the same time as fighting for changes that will mean that our children are at less risk, at the same time, we have to protect them in ways that will champion their resilience. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, we need to know more about the story of their resilience. So where can we find out about this resilience of our African adolescents and our African children? The slide that you can see in front of you shows a number of the studies that have been published. But that's not nearly all of them. There's a really solid literature that you can find in journals and in books. And that literature writes about what it is that enables our children to be resilient. And so what does this resilience mean? I think that the best definition that we can use to explain resilience is the definition by Professor Anne Maston, who works in the United States of America and who's traveled to Africa often. And she's worked with our children too. And Anne explains resilience as a capacity. And it's the capacity of a dynamic system, like a child, or an adolescent, or a family, or a community, to adapt well when there are challenges or disturbances that threaten to destroy that system, that threaten to jeopardize the capacity of that system to function well, or to develop well, or to be vulnerable. And what we need to be very clear about this morning is that that capacity is linked to multiple resources. And the first of those resources is what you see on the top left-hand side of the slide. those resources relate to strengths within individuals or individual systems themselves. So we're talking about assets, we're talking about knowledge, we're talking about genetic makeup. But do you see that that's just one part of what supports resilience? In addition to that one little part in the top left-hand corner, we have a multitude of other resources which are not in the individual. They're in what we call the social ecology. They're in what's around the individual. So they are in relationships. They're in organizations like REPSI, like Save the Children, like the many organizations that do superb work in Africa. They're in our schools. They're in our churches. Those resources are also in our communities. And they should be, and often are, at macro level. They're in our policies and in our laws and in what our governments do. Now, what I'm going to do to try and comply with Rosalind's 20-minute limit is I'm going to summarize the story of this African resilience for you in 3 pointers, or 3 directives, if you like. And we can talk later about whether you think there are extra directives that we need to add. But these lessons, or these directives, they come directly from the work that has been done with children and adolescents who live here in sub-Saharan Africa. Lots and lots and lots of the resilience literature comes from America, comes from Canada, comes from what we call the global north, right? But what I'm sharing with you this morning comes from our children and our adolescents. And they've got 3 important things to teach us. And the first thing that they teach us is that what we need to do, if we want to protect our children well, and we want to use the story of their resilience to protect them well, then what we want to do is we want to draw on ordinary, everyday resources. And to illustrate what I mean, I'm going to put up a slide for you that was generated by a group of South African adolescents who speak mainly isiZulu, and who I worked with 2 weeks ago in a township in South Africa. And we asked these adolescents, explain to us, what is it that helps you guys to get up every day and to keep on trying your hardest, even though you live really, really difficult lives? Lives where child abuse and where neglect and poverty are an everyday experience. And I want you to look at that list. I'm going to give you a moment. I want you to look very carefully at what they are saying supports their resilience. Okay? What I hope you are seeing is that there is a combination there of very ordinary, everyday resources. There's nothing special on that list. Do you see something special? Or are those things that you believe could be found in the everyday lives of most African children? And I think that that's a very important point. These children are telling us that we don't need special or fancy or extraordinary supports. We need a mix of personal strengths. So you see, for example, number 4. I'm not sure if it's a saying in Kenya or in the rest of sub-Saharan Africa, but the South African adolescents talk a lot about presa pusha panda. That means don't give up. Keep going. So there's a mix of individual agency. There's a mix of individual strength. But there's also the ordinary resources of number 1, a support system. Of number 2, a family. Of number 8, of education. And other social, ecological supports. So we need to be very careful, ladies and gentlemen. Resilience is not a personality trait. If we want to protect our children well, we have to forget any misconception that resilience is a personality trait. It's a process. It's a process that draws on the individual and on the social ecology, and they join hands, they work together. And they work together in order to achieve better than expected outcomes when life is really challenging and really hard. And so you might be interested in reading the work by Sadia Haffajee, which was recently published. She worked with a group of young women who were really horrendously sexually violated. And she worked with them to understand their resilience. And they told her, they explained to her what enabled their resilience. And all of those young women provided similar lists. They told stories of resilience that are partly about these young women's personal strength, personal determination, personal agency, and also partly about the support that they received from child protection workers, from their families, from their communities, and from their churches. So what does this mean for us? What do we need to do? If we want to protect our children, if we understand that what supports their resilience is ordinary, everyday resources, then one of the first things that we need to do as practitioners and child protection workers is we have to inventory what are the ordinary, everyday resources that are available to our children. And we have to use those when we work to protect them. The second thing that we need to do is we need to teach our social ecology. We need to teach our families, and we need to teach our schools, and we need to teach our communities, and we need to even sometimes teach our church communities that their role is an important one because they are partners in the resilience process. They have to work with children and with adolescents to make sure that they achieve better than expected outcomes when life is hard. So that's the first thing that we learn when we look at the many studies that have been published about the resilience of sub-Saharan youth. There's a second lesson. And the second lesson is that when we have done this inventory of the ordinary everyday resources that can be used to support our children's resilience, we have to be very sensitive to what would be contextually most relevant. And those are the resources that we have to maximize. And what I'm going to do to illustrate this for you is I'm going to use one example only. And before I use that example, I want to tell you that the reason why we have to maximize context-relevant supports is because if you go and read all those studies that I'm summarizing for you this morning, they teach us that ordinary everyday resources matter for the resilience of all children, also our children in sub-Saharan Africa. But there's a but. The shape, or the expression, or the form, or the detail, if you like, of those resources is going to be a little different depending on the context in which those children find themselves and depending on the cultural values that those children adhere to. And so I'm going to illustrate it with one example. And that's the example of a support system. So do you remember the list I showed you a couple of slides back? Number one was a support system. A support system comes up over and over and over again when you read the resilience literature in sub-Saharan Africa. But I think what we need to understand is that typically in sub-Saharan Africa, that support system takes on the form of what Mkhize in 2006 called a family community. So it's a combination. It's nothing new to those of us who've grown up in sub-Saharan Africa. It takes a long time to explain this when you talk in other parts of the world. But a family community essentially is what you see on that slide. This was drawn by one of the young people who worked with me in a resilience study. And who gave me permission, as did all the other young people, to reproduce what they draw and to show their photographs when I speak in public. So what she draws shows that her community consists not just of her mom and her dad and her brothers and her sisters, it includes the extended family. And in addition to the extended family, or the family with whom she has ties, either by marriage or also includes people who are like family. So it includes people who care, even if they are not blood relatives. Something that you often read in the literature is called fictive kin or informal kin. And this family community needs to inform how we protect children growing up in Sub-Saharan Africa. Because this is the support system that our children report most often. But the but is that the form that this family community takes depends on the context. So the socio-cultural values of interdependence and being interrelated human beings probably underpins the fact that we so often hear about a family community. But who is in the family community changes depending on where the children are and depending on the risks that they face in the context of their daily lives. And so in the rural areas that I've worked in South Africa and in Lesotho, the family community consists of women, mainly. And so young people repeatedly talk about a mother. And on my slide, I've been purposeful in using the inverted commas, because the mother is very often a biological mother, but not always. So the mother figure is often also a granny, a gogo, as we would call her in South Africa, or an auntie, or a sister, or an older female cousin who's like a mom. It's also very often a teacher, a woman teacher, but it's a caring woman teacher. And it's also very often a woman social worker, or a woman who works in an NGO. And what's important for us as practitioners is to remember that there's probably contextual, or there are probably contextual reasons for this predominance of mother figures in the rural areas. And this relates largely, I think, to the number of women-headed households in Sub-Saharan Africa that are growing. But it also relates to the fact that there are various reasons across Sub-Saharan Africa why men are absent from households. In my country, in South Africa, it relates to apartheid and to the apartheid laws and associated social engineering policies that disrupted families and that meant that men were disconnected from their families in order to be able to find work. And so these contextual, these historical reasons, there's not enough employment in the rural areas currently either, means that that could account for why we see more women in young people's explanations of their resilience. Another possible reason is that gender stereotypes have continued. So largely in Sub-Saharan Africa, girls are still raised to prioritize others' needs and to care about others before they care about themselves. The point this morning for us as practitioners is that we need to understand two things. We need to understand that the context matters. When we protect our children, who are we going to draw on to work with us to protect them? But what in the context do we need to address? What can we do, for example, to ensure that more men are accessible to children in the rural parts of Sub-Saharan Africa? Just an additional example. When children are growing up on the street, when they are street connected, or when they are growing up in child-headed families, or child-headed households, or when they are caring for ill adults, you don't hear about a family community that includes adults. Then you hear about a family community that is made up of their peers. And so their connection to other young people who are similarly challenged makes the difference and helps them to find support in their schoolwork, in their caregiving duties, in their chores. Again, what it means for us as practitioners is that we need to routinely inventory or routinely assess who matters most specific context. And we have to use the who matters most when we work hard to protect them. Last point, and then I'll close. We also need to regularly revise our understanding of who matters most and what matters most. And I'm going to illustrate it by referring to a study that we did in South Africa. And the study shows that as our children grow older, time changes which resources matter most. And so the bottom line is our work is never going to be done. We're never going to know enough about resilience. We're going to have to keep understanding what matters most at a given point in time. So we worked with a sample of Sesotho-speaking young people who were growing up in a township, and we asked them again to explain what enables their resilience. And you'll see, if you run your eyes down the list, those are ordinary resources. Nothing special there again. The one that was the most significant was education. Young people believed that their resilience was intertwined with the opportunity to go to school and to get a good education so that they could then later have good jobs and care for their families and themselves. We went back to these same young people 2 years later. We asked these same young people exactly the same questions. We got exactly the same answers. 2 years later, the same ordinary resources mattered. But which ones mattered more had changed. So education was still the most prominent, but in addition, faith-based supports and peer relationships had become much more salient in how young people explain their resilience. And we can argue that this might relate to the fact that adolescents developmentally rely a lot on their peers. We could argue that certainly in this community that we worked in, spirituality is considered important. The point is that we couldn't have guessed that. We need to regularly revise and learn from our young people about what it is that matters most at a given point in time. One last comment about that study is that when we looked again at the young people who have reported peer supports and faith-based supports as underpinning their resilience at time 2, and we looked at the young people who had reported these supports for the first time at time 2, we discovered that these young people also thought their community was safe. And we can't explain why that is, because when we looked at the crime stats, when we looked at the number of child abuse and neglect cases, there was no change from time 1 to time 2. In fact, in some instances, the crime stats have got worse. So we need to go back and to work more with these young people to understand what changed their perception of the safe community. But the point for us as practitioners this morning is that when young people experience their community as safer, they also begin to notice or report supports that they hadn't previously done. And so in conclusion, African children and adolescents have a very important message for us as practitioners. And their message is that we have to work tirelessly to build families and to build communities that are going to constitute safe spaces for our young people. But at the same time, we have to know what are the ordinary, everyday resources that inform their resilience. And from those ordinary, everyday resources, we've got to maximize the ones that are contextually, culturally, and temporally relevant. And I'll stop there.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. I'm inviting the second keynote speech. Then we'll have about 10 minutes of interaction with them on a panel session. And before I do that, I think one important thing I should do is to acknowledge our children. We have children with us. I think that's very important, apart from acknowledging all the other nationalities. So all the children, you can stand and we want to give you a clap. The children in the house. I'll give you a very nice clap that you can give them. We call it a sound clap. And this is how the sound clap goes. When I say a sound clap, another one, another bigger one. Now the last one. I can read it for our children. A sound clap, another one, another bigger one. Now the last one. Thank you very much, children. We are happy that you are here. Our second speaker is one known to the Daystar University, but also maybe to many others. And she is Dr. Florence Muri Musini, who will be taking us through the session that we are going to have just shortly, and I'll be reading to us about her bio. But her topic today that she's going to take us through, allow me to do this, capitalizing on evidence-based approach for improved child protection interventions and visibility. And basically to help us see why evidence is important as we do children's work. She is, I've said she's our immediate former Chancellor of Daystar University. She's a member of the National Crime Research Center in Kenya. She holds a PhD in, now that's a good word, jurisprudence from the University of Edinburgh, a Master of Science in Psychology from Indiana State University, and a BA in Social Work from Makerere University. She is the immediate past Chancellor of and Council Chair of Daystar University. Dr. Msime was the Deputy Director General of the African Medical and Research Foundation, that's AMREF, and consulted for UN Habitat and the Rockefeller Foundation. In addition to this, impressive leadership roles, Dr. Florence Msime is a strategic planner and social worker. She brings to us a global view and local and regional operations. She is passionate about finding solutions to health and mental health. Let's put our hands together and invite Dr. Florence Msime.
Let me start by saying good morning to everybody. Good morning. Good morning. I feel again, these are familiar grounds for me, and it's great to see children, because when I see them, I can see Daystar is going to continue to survive and grow. I decided not to do slides today. Not that I don't have them, but I wanted to see whether we can have a little bit of contact and listen to one another. When I got this invitation to come and speak to this conference on capitalizing on evidence-based approaches for improved child protection interventions and for raising their visibility, I was intrigued by that topic. I assumed that the other speakers, would put all the evidence on the table and tell us how to do it. But I was surprised that they asked me to do that and not Linda, who would have done the super job about. She's already started doing it already. However, I reminded myself that we are holding this conference at a time when information technology has grown tremendously. Actually, there has been, in the last 10 years, a total explosion of information technology. To come closer home to this country, let's just think about the mobile telephone, the handset. It has changed the way we communicate. It has changed the way we record events, and it has also changed the way we share that information. And if you want to, you're asking me why. Last week in this country, an incident happened somewhere in county called Makueni. A gentleman found that it was pleasurable to kick and beat his wife. He was doing it because it has always been done, and it was assumed this is a domestic matter. But within the people who were watching, someone actually recorded that incident until it ended. It ended with the lady becoming unconscious, being rushed to the hospital after a rescue. But within a very short time after that, the story became global. It went viral because someone used a handset to record it and to share it. And by recording, sharing, there was a massive outcry, locally and elsewhere, asking why is there so much domestic violence? And they said the lady had children. No one asked how did those children feel and how have they been coping with that kind of violence. And that is to say that child protection takes a lot of different modes. But what I'm saying is that the information technology has opened the way for us to actually collect and share evidence that will enable us to see how can we harness not only the data, but the resilience of the people and the children that we are looking at to do something better than we've always done before. What I'm saying is that the base for recording evidence on vulnerable children who need protection, what I actually call unearthing the hidden factor, could not have been better. I think it cannot have been better. It is because the opportunity is so great and the potential for evidence so much. I felt that the key issue that we need to address and focus on in this conference is not how to gather the evidence, because it's already there. We may not be looking at it from the same lens, but it is there. I think the question that we need to answer today is why there is such a low uptake of evidence. What is available in child protection strategies? That is the question I want us to answer. Why is it so low? Why don't we use it? Why don't we pay attention to it? Despite the information technology breakthrough, and I want you to think also M-Pesa. My grandmother in the village, I don't need to send someone like money to her if I want to send it to her. All she needs is a handset. But somehow, with or without education, she will manipulate that gadget and then be able to get money out of it. Is that not true? Just think what would happen if we invested just a little effort and time into using that gadget to enable children to record, to share, and to communicate how they feel about the things that happen to them. I'll leave that to Linda to expound a little bit further later. But the opportunity exists, and it can be used to involve not just me as a researcher and my colleagues here, but the children and the people who bring them up where they live. It can become a very vibrant research environment for recording from a personal viewpoint that resilience that Linda talked about, and the how and the where we ought to go from here. The question is, where do all the efforts and the money go? And how can we change that situation? There is money going into child protection. There is a lot of effort going there. But the outcomes, if you look at them combined, raise questions and raise concerns. However, let me say that before I confuse you and confuse myself, let me borrow a leaf from Alice and Wonderland, who read the book. She said when she went to look for help, she was told is an injustice to all the children. And the reason is very simple. The sum total of that one child here, another child there, and another child there is what turns out to be the massive numbers of unprotected children that we see, especially in this continent and this country of mine here. During the recent past, research evidence and practical experience has made available to us knowledge about what is happening to vulnerable children today and what it takes to improve outcomes of those who are neglected, disadvantaged, or without what we call just general care. But despite this expanded knowledge, we have not been successful in achieving significantly better outcomes at a magnitude that matches the need in critical areas such as child protection at home, outside the home, at school, and in many facilities where children are being taken care of, they are being fostered, or they are in children's homes, and other children who have no access to a safe environment, even if they have a place to go home. Further, despite the emerging information and evidence and knowledge, child protection is more than a roof over their heads. And I say this because we tend to think that if the child can come to a place to sleep and to eat, that's enough. And what we are saying is, it's awfully inadequate, because a child is a total person and she needs more than just he or she. I'm a girl, you know, I'm saying she. He or she requires a lot more than what we are able to offer. Evidence and knowledge on these things is wrong, and there is a growing pool of new as well as old evidence showing that child protection also includes a healthy birth, a physical environment where they feel protected, emotional and mental well-being, access and readiness for school, as well as access to better health and services. The poor outcomes puzzle becomes even more puzzling because the levers of the change are already visible. The answer why perhaps rests on our failure to marshal the full extent of available knowledge and information in applying it to child protection problems and to generating new information. In the hope of minimizing the risk and of squandering precious resources and time, this conference is a welcome platform for deliberating and pushing for a national framework for evidence-based child protection system for use by all actors, including those who control and allocate resources for child protection. While committing ourselves to ensuring that practices, policies, and strategies are evidence-based, our definition of what counts as critical evidence must also expand to include multiple sources in order to maximize the impacts of public and voluntary investigation. In particular, besides research evidence, evaluation findings of ongoing programs, theory and practice, and deliberate attempts should be made to use observations at community level by community members. Today, IT has leveled the playing ground and offered us an opportunity to collect evidence direct from the local level, where the actual situation is playing out. Those who are affected can actually bring it out. If you notice, Linda was using a lot of drawings in our presentation. Children can actually express their own feelings by actually just drawing. There's so many multiple issues of producing that evidence. The lack of available evidence about specific child welfare practices and programs is another barrier to widespread implementation of evidence-based practice. In addition, agencies and practitioners must well consider any new program or service. By involving stakeholders in program design and development, evidence related to stakeholders it can help us to model and can also help us understand why a particular model would assist their community in achieving desired outcomes. As a result, evidence-based practice can supplement the role of practice-based knowledge and professional judgment, although these are also very important. This would also provide space for the actors to use community-owned information to evaluate the program outcomes, hence involving the community in generating new evidence and knowledge for validating the evidence used in developing the programs that we direct to them. The outcome, the nature and diversity of child protection programs and the multiplicity of actors is another reason why we do not always use evidence that we have. And this also leads to overwhelming use of practice-based knowledge. Child protection issues and concerns cut across many actors who develop their own internal systems and whose efficacy for use across actors has not been tested, despite a general awareness that there is a need for a systemic evaluation of the actor and their systems and the way these can cut across others. Consolidating evaluation and monitoring findings across actors and their systems can allow us to better identify, understand, and describe the approaches and their outcomes for children in need of care. The emerging evidence can also lead to tailor-made programs that address specific issues, enhance supervision and oversight for improved implementation of these strategies, while developing new, innovative implementation strategies to improve care and outcomes for all children at family level and across the communities. In addition to monitoring and evaluation findings, research evidence emerging from research institutions or organizations could be used to further inform the strategies in place to include resource and should also include evidence related to how resources are allocated and distributed across the board. Emerging research evidence from other institutions is also beginning to indicate the need for a change of focus and a sense of urgency in responding to changes in the magnitude of child protection needs within families. And I'll give you a specific example. Recently, the National Crime Research Center undertook a study, it was in 2015, on gender-based violence. We found that the threat of children victims in gender-based violence, and from people they know, some of them, their parents, is on the rise in this country of ours. In another study, which is about to be communicated soon, is on domestic violence. Again, there is a very clear systematic evidence showing that within the domestic environment, children in this country are increasingly being targeted during the efforts of domestic violence. And I don't have to go very far. Again, that helpful. Recently, there has been a lot of communication of babies being killed while they are on their mother's backs by fathers fighting with their mothers. We have also seen a lot of communication of teenagers involved in domestic violence as well, either against their parents or fighting back victimization from their own parents. What I'm saying is that the family that was supposed to be the securest place for a child has changed. It has been transformed. Partly by social, cultural, and economic conditions within the family, and also partly by the expanding children's homes.